Greetings and salutations. Today we're going to compare old western style weapons in 3 different games: Valorant, Phantom Forces, and Call of Duty Mobile. We will be looking at numerous aspects such as accuracy to hitbox, speed, feel, and any other notes that I deem important. To clarify, the era of the Cowboys, also known as the Wild West, which is where I am choosing the weapons from, was from 1865 to 1890. Please do keep in mind that this is a subjective analysis based off of 10 minutes of warm-up and 1 hour of gameplay in each game. I will only be showing that which I deem as the best clips that show the pros and cons of every weapon. First up is Valorant. As permitted weapons, I will be using the Shorty, Sheriff, Bucky, Marshall, Outlaw, and the Knife. Though I mainly used Sheriff, Marshall, and Outlaw. I played Swift Play to ensure that I always had enough money to buy a weapon and to play with more enemies, getting more scenarios in the 1 hour time limit. Let's start with the cons. In general, the shooting in Valorant is not very consistent, which is devastating if you don't hit your shot, since the guns shoot very slow. In addition, I feel that the shotguns are too much of RNG, and even at the same distance as another dude, you can do less damage with the same gun. As a shooter, Valorant is fast-paced, which is not the problem, but this means that if you don't hit your shots, then slow reload of all the guns will leave you open for counterfire. The toxicity you get from only playing with these weapons is also disappointing, to say the least. Even in Swift play, which is where you go to have fun, people were still complaining about every mistake I made while they were bottom fragging. While no scoping is a possibility, it is not always easy or possible with these weapons. As tiny movements send the rounds way off, you have to find a time to stand still and shoot at your enemy, which you can't always do in the fast-paced game that Valorant is. Now on to the pros. It is extremely satisfying to kill a Jet with a Vandal or Phantom and clutch the round when you have a Marshal. When you do clutch with only Western weapons, the team's reactions are generally more overreactive compared to when you win with more practical weapons. The weapons are relatively cheap as well, meaning that if you want to play only Western weapons, then almost any round you can afford at least one, including eco rounds. The weapons are in general fun to use. Even when losing, it is always fun to pretend to be a cowboy. Overall, Valorant gets 4.2 out of 7 KFC chicken strips. Next up is Phantom Forces. For the challenge, I used the Henry 4570, the Old Army 1889, the Bare Fists, and Dynamite 3. There are other weapons that could classify as well, such as the other Dynamites, old-fashioned melee weapons, mainly knives, and one could even argue that all of the revolvers fall into the category as well, even if they weren't released during that era, and many more. In regards to these weapons, I either don't have them or don't have enough attachments on them to like them. Again, we will be starting with the cons. This game is even more fast-paced than Valorant and holds a wider range of span weapons, which means that in most cases you will be outgunned. There are also more players in lobbies, meaning that you can get swarmed easier, and with slower fire rate you will most likely die quite a bit. There is also much more movement capabilities in Phantom Forces, meaning that it is much easier to dodge the single shot or slower shots you are firing at them. Lastly, there is a lot of desync. You could be running and dodge a shot, but you still die, or someone can shoot you without looking at you because on their screen they were looking at you. Pros: you are much more likely to hit your shot as the rounds travel exactly where you are pointing. The damage of these weapons is much higher, meaning even body shots from most ranges will kill an enemy in one shot, so you just have to be more accurate. The maps are bigger, meaning you can use the long-range accuracy of the weapons to your advantage. You can customize the weapon to your liking, so you can personalize your weapon and have a better experience during the game. There is also no toxicity for using old Western weapons, only if you use the BFG or any auto shotgun, which are universally hated weapons. No scoping with the weapons is quite easy, especially if you add a laser sight, so you can do it at any moment. While moving, you are still perfectly accurate, so you can be running towards cover and get a shot off towards your enemy. Overall, I give Cowboy style Phantom Forces 209.7 bullet calibers out of 233. Last comes Call of Duty Mobile. In order to show the guns in a more reasonable skilled lobby for mobile games, I played only frontline ranked. For the challenge, I used the MK2 and the J35-8, but like in the other games, there are many other weapons that could count towards this cowboy category. Once more, we shall start with the cons. As it is a mobile game, the sensitivity isn't great, and neither is the frame rate. The hitboxes aren't consistent, and at the same range, sometimes it will one-shot body shot, other times it won't. No scoping with these weapons isn't a very viable option as most shots will miss. Now the pros. As a mobile game, most players haven't mastered the movement, so it's easier to hit your targets. The damage is balanced with the difficulty of the gun, so snipers and marksman rifles do a lot more damage, one tapping in most cases. Players are not very accurate in lower ranks, so you can practice and learn the weapons before getting into the harder lobbies. The mechanics in general are not very hard to learn for a sniper player, so you can do well quickly. Most maps are very sniper friendly, so you won't be forced into close range fights very often. While moving, you are still generally accurate. Overall, I'm giving Call of Duty Mobile with cowboy weapons 417.9 Dutch flags out of 597. Thank you for watching this video. I know it took a long time to release. I just haven't had as much time as exams and other school projects are starting to pile up now towards the end of the year. I will try to create a more regular schedule to my uploads. However, I can't promise anything. Thank you anyways. Bye-bye.